Come on, cogitator. The tech priest by the cogitator nods curtly. The sacred mechanism is awake and ready to receive your request, Lord Captain. And Edward hands the Dargonus data bank to the tech priest. Access the data from Dargonus. With reverent trepidation, the tech priest accepts the device from your hands and places it inside of one of the drives, all while honoring the machine spirit with modulating binary prayer. The turbines of the cogitator stir into motion and the windscreens lighten up. Input, PEC, comp, Nomos, stabilization, true. Stat checking, initialized. Nomos, epitaph status initiated. Data recognized 0924558847. The tech priest extracts the data slate from the cogitator and gives it to you. I feel like the demon who spoke to us is the one who killed her. But I mean, do you really... I would have guessed that the demon who spoke to us was probably like Slaanesh or someone like that. And I would guess they also had to summon like a demon to actually kill someone. Or corrupt someone. And I mean, then again, we haven't heard from them in quite a while. But we also didn't give in to heresy, so... The tech priest extracts the data slate from the cogitator and gives it to you. The machine spirit has revealed the contents of the encrypted data, and I hereby pass it to you. This is where I reach the limit of my authorization, but you now have the option to review the decrypted data personally. The data bank decryption procedure has been completed without complication. The tech priest stops short. The green lights of his visor, fixed on the cogitator's vidscreens, flicker nervously. Strings of numerical code begin appearing with frightening speed. This time the numbers are interspersed with words you can understand, and those words form legible sentences. Is the machine coming alive? I mean, we do have quite a lot of rumors about the ship being possessed, right? Input, unpacking, comp, Nomos true. Epitaph brought her to beginning 84569. Nomos analysis status initiated. Epitaph begot the incident, that which destroyed. Stack check initialized and changed everything. The incident became the starting point. 542361. Yeah, the epitaph of the incident we learned about from the data in Kiava Gamma. What did that destroy and change? And starting point? Input, unpacking compilation, Nomos analysis, status initiated. The incident breathed life and marked the beginning of all. 5476. It marked the beginning of Nomos. 2356. Nomos? It created Nomos. What the heck? Is it like the spirit possessing the machine? Are we talking to machine spirit and it's just calling itself Nomos? Like, based on Nom operation system? But usually they don't communicate directly with you, right? The tech priest, now alarmed, is tapping the keys on the control panel. His binary prayer gives way to distress whispering. Unacceptable deviation, violation of the sacred protocols, possibility of tech heresy. Omnisire, shield us from all heresy. A few moments later, the vidscreen darkened and flickered to life again. Input, prompt, Nomos algorithm 52136. What the heck is happening? I want to know more. Wow, Alistair, very helpful. Yes, no, maybe. But I mean, of course I don't want to be spoiled. I saw a word among the lines of code. Nomos. What does it mean? That is a mystery to me. If this mechanism truly is tainted, then... could it be? The tech priest Mechadendrite jitters anxiously over the control panel. If heresy truly has taken hold of the machine spirit and scorned the omnicized every tenet, then the spirit's madness could be such that it has chosen a name for itself. But that is nothing more than my hypothesis. Is he not seeing the connection between Nomos and Nomos? Well. You will report this to Pasqal. The tech priest bows guiltily, and his mechanical voice becomes hollow and dejected. My knowledge is insufficient to cleanse the code of this mechanism. I will inform the esteemed Engineer Prime of this disturbing development. Only he has the power to expel the heresy from this corrupted machine spirit. Huh. I'm very, very curious about how this is going to continue. What the heck is that? I mean, the cogitator also gave us this weird quest, right? Remember that? That is connected. There's some kind of sentience. But it doesn't seem to be evil, because I mean, if it was evil, it could have made us do really bad stuff, right? So many questions. The computer lives. Yeah, it doesn't seem like a machine spirit. Or an awakened one? I don't know. It is so cool. Really looking forward to finding out what's behind it. Alright, back to the palace. Run, Edward. What was our task again? Okay, talking to Kilias and... basically just that. We want to restore the operation of the administrative apparatus. I mean, we went through the administratum, so it seems to be working. If you can call that working. Somewhat. It's not completely still. So, General Wizard, what kind of conviction are you playing? Is it like mixed, or are you really playing mainly one path? You talk back to me one more time. I grant you your wish. You'll be cleaning as a brainless battery-powered tin can. Those are both servants. Anyway. Let's have a look. Ooh. Nice, very nice throne. The Von Valensis dynasty throne, a visible symbol of the Rogue Trader's power, which now belongs to you. Oh, here's Idira. Okay, Heinrix, Akalias. The lack of observers on this world has led your nobles to become extremely complacent. Today alone, I have heard 3 statements that, if so wanted, could be turned into grounds for a charge of heresy. Heinrix, always the Inquisitor. 56 of 200 dogmatic, 80 of 200 iconoclast. Fuck else. Nice. I have to see, what are my convictions before we engage in this talk? Where can I see this? Formation? No. Yeah, I know what I'm doing. 9 dogmatic, 0 heretical, and 237 iconoclast. Earthquake. The slender figure, clad in robes made from expensive fabric, shudders from violent coughing. Pressing a gilded respirator to his face, the man takes several deep breaths. I wonder what maimed him so much. Kilias, has been many moons. I hope your cousin is feeling well. Kilias covers his burned lip, trying and failing to suppress a coughing fit. She's in good health. She sends her regards to you, as well as her wishes for your swift return. Heinrix frowns. For as long as the stars shine in the sky, my vigil continues. So it does. Achilles thrums himself on the chest with his augmented hand. You hear the clanging of metal against metal. Okay, Edward is smarter than I am. I didn't hear any code. Edward does recognize code. I'm not so foolish as to fail to notice a conversation in code. New insight deserves credit, rogue trader. And then again, I expect nothing less from Theodora than Valencia's successor. Heinrix looks at Achilles. Allow me to introduce Achilles' calendar properly. In addition to his duties as Secretary of the Administratum, he acts as an agent of the Golden Throne under my aegis. Master's calendar was transferred into my remit by a colleague who is engaged in other matters in the Koronus Expanse. I'm sure you will find Achilles' service useful, especially when dealing with the schemes of humanity's foes within the borders of your protectorate. Interesting that he so openly reveals that. Greetings, Lord Edward von Valencius. Allow me once again to express my deepest condolences on the loss of Lady Theodora. I will do everything I can to track down and destroy all of Conrad Vogtvir's accomplices on this capital world. Do you know anything about what has become of Conrad Vogtvir? The former Master of Whispers is a heretic and a traitor to the dynasty. Achilles nods grimly. Word of his treason reached Dargonus too late. Conrad came to the planet and left it almost immediately, once he had sown discord in the minds of the gullible and naive. The worst of the rumors he started was that you were the one responsible for Lady Theodora's sudden demise. Of course, your lower subjects did their best to skin alive any who showed signs of doubt, but it seems unlikely that the wardens got to everyone who has allowed doubt into their heart, and now nurtures it in secret. It won't be good for my voice to voice two characters with very hoarse voices. Okay, we have to keep the camera like that so it's stable. The scars on your face. What happened? About 5 years ago, there was an accident. Several tanks of promethium exploded in the storehouse at my estate, and I was buried alive under the rubble. The Emperor preserved my soul, and the skilled physicians of Dargonus saved my body, except for my lungs, which I had to repart. I presume the incident was an attempt on my life, but the identity of whoever was behind it remains a mystery. Interesting that they couldn't fix the lungs better than that. But maybe it's like a money issue? You promised me a report on the present state of affairs in the protectorate. I have already forwarded all official reports to your Seneschal. As for the conversation we are having right now, I wouldn't trust any paper or data slate with the contents. You see, Lady Theodora, may the Emperor have mercy on her soul, was perfectly aware of Dargonus' political environment. You, however, have only just arrived in the capital world, and I thought it would be best to bring you up to speed. Frankly, the nobles of Dargonus, much like nobles on most worlds, are akin to spiders in a jar, which is the quest name, ready to pounce on whoever's the weakest, or whoever they deem to be the weakest. The nobles of Dargonus are well respected, rich and powerful individuals who held Lady Theodora's favor for many years, and found ways to rise above the rest by diligently serving the rogue trader. Every family pursues its selfish interest, and each one expects that with the transition of power, they will retain and even add to their lands and wealth. The families I would recommend giving particular attention to are the Drive Steams. I think that was Governor Drive Steam. The Gabraks and the Sauerbacks. I should also mention the Wassarians, not a noble house per se, but a family that was part of Lady Theodora's inner circle, to the Blue Blood's great displeasure. Oh boy. Probably all conspiring behind each other's backs. So, tell me about the Drive Steams. The Drive Steams are an ancient governor house of Dargonus. Predictably, the greater wealth of the Von Valencius protectorate, the fuller their coffers grow. Their reputation is flawless except for one detail. We have evidence that urban Drive Steam rivals seems to have misfortune of regularly falling victims to Xenos raids. I find that these attacks are always a little too adventurous for the Drive Steams, but we lack solid proof, and it might never surface. The closer an official is to Rogue Trader, the brave and safer they feel. I would just like to remind everyone that rubbing shoulders with Xenos is a heresy that can be overlooked only in case of the Von Valencius heir, not a servant. So, what makes the Gabraks special? The Gabraks hail from a remote forge world among their distant relatives that are mainly servants of the Omnissiah, and the house itself is close to the cult of the Adeptus Mechanicus, both in spirit and in their business connections. So probably we should ally with them. The Gabreks oversaw the industrial shipments within your protectorate until recently. Ever since the astropathic communication with Gamma Gamma was severed, they've been quite concerned about the security of the planet placed in their care. Ah, they govern that planet as well. You know, I've been to Gamma Gamma already. That planet was tainted by the cult of the Final Dawn. Achilles shakes his head. These are grim tidings. It's a tragedy that an industrial world of such tremendous capacity was brought down by the pernicious influence of the archenemy. Perhaps my colleagues can pick up the cult's stray in the cold void. Of course, it will be a small consolation to all of us. Love that Heinrix just terrifies everyone around him. True. Very menacing. Normally not my type. But I think that's the Inquisition for you. Everyone is terrified. So, what can you tell me about House Sauerback? Religious and hardworking, the Sauerbacks own many enterprises, including distillation manufactorums that produce permethium. I must note that lately members of the Sauerback family have been prone to overly liberal statements about the von Valencius dynasty. They believe that Lady Theodora is a bit too keen to leave the walls without proper oversight. Interesting. You know, I would also like to know more about the Wossarians. The Wossarians are a line founded by Lady Theodora Seneschal, and as such are normally considered nobility, at least from the standpoint of the Imperial Navy, from which Lord Abelard hails. Under Dargonus, however, their position is precarious. Firstly, they never were granted an official title, a process which has been impeded for decades by the old houses of Dargonus. And secondly, the other families do not see them as equals, but more as upstarts clinging to the rogue trader's favor. The Wossarians are responsible for the capital world's fleet and the majority of the cargo shipments on domestic routes. I wonder if we can grant them a title. So, enough about those nobles. Was there anything else you wanted to report? There was, your lordship. And this time it concerns the main reason for my presence on this planet, Xenos, and the threat they pose both to you and to humanity as a whole. The last few months have been difficult for the people who report to me. My eyes and ears are scattered throughout the Koronus Expanse. Warp disturbances, astropaths overcome with madness, ships disappearing in the Imperium. Many of my observers and contacts have gone dark, or have been killed by some calamity or other. Still, I managed to establish communication with some key individuals who were able to warn me about incoming threats, including Xenos raids. I liked Abelard's family more than any of the others. I think I will too. They seem... I mean, Clementias sound really sincere compared to the others. Oh well, let's see how the others are. Achilles looks you in the eye without blinking. It is within my power to supply you with intelligence on where and when the Xenos will strike next. I do not doubt that Governor Drive's team will back you for protection against the Xenos, and in this fight, the information from my contacts will serve you well. I beseech you, Edward, if I ever report a threat looming over a ship or a planet, do not dismiss it. Sometimes it takes an intervention from the rogue trader and his mighty void ship to avert disaster. Alright, so I must take my leave. Achilles bows. According to the message I received a few minutes ago, Governor Drive's team has arrived at court. I imagine that the Chancellor is already prepared to arrange the meeting. All that's left is to notify her that you are ready to see Urbant. Alright, sounds like something very easy to do. Hey, your lordship. Clemens about... Oh no, chaos influence! An expanding pink square. Or cube, I guess. I guess that's just a bug. Oh well. Clemencia bows her head politely. For Chancellor to Rogue Trader, she's dressed rather simply. A braid doublet, polished boots, and a comfortable cloak. She bears a saber in gilded scabbard, whether for show or protection, one could not say. Only her ring with the Wossarian coat of arms indicates that she is of the highest social stratum. Oh, did that happen to you too, Alistair? I definitely think that's a glitch. But it's so weird. I mean, the game has been out for 3 months. No, 2. I can't do Mars. The governor is waiting on the periphery of the palace. Please let me know when you would like to see him. Awareness succeeded. The sharp gaze and the impeccably straight back, the composure. For a moment you feel like you're looking at a younger version of Abelard himself, not his hair. Judging by the scars on the exposed part of her body, Dementia saw a fair share of combat prior to assuming the position of Chancellor. Nice. So, what can you tell me about Dargonus? All deals and important decisions are made here in the capital. Many years ago, an ancestor of Lady Theodora signed an agreement with the Adeptus Administratum, which allowed for efficient management of the world and the neighboring systems. In accordance with the decree, a share of the planet's population was assigned to the Administratum and converted into servitor scribes. They now toil across the entire world. Dargonus is also the seat of several noble families who run all the major planets in the protectorate. If I may express my not-so-humble opinion, they care very little about who exactly stands at the helm. The Sperenias think about their own profits just as much as they do about the prosperity of the protectorate itself, if not more. She seems pretty direct, but I like that. And lastly, Dargonus has its own fleet, a luxury unavailable to the vast majority of other worlds in your realm. In addition to warships, the Protectorate also employs privateer ships which are used to transport cargo between worlds. So, tell me about Governor Drivesteam. Urban Drivesteam is a well-respected man, and not just on Dargonus, but throughout the entire Protectorate. For many centuries, his house has supported the capital's administratum and the logistics between the Von Valencia systems. The Drivesteam's efforts secured years of order and prosperity for Dargonus. What's more, Lady Theodora personally insisted that Lord Urban specifically be made the next governor. I do wonder why. The worst shit I got actually happened during Cassia's romance scene. Oh yeah, you told me about that. That sucks. But nice that you could fix it with reloading. Ooh, fellowship succeeded. The way you speak of the Drivesteam, I hear a hint of either contempt or resentment. No, I don't believe I feel that either, your lordship. Clemencia's steely eyes stare into the distance, her jaws clenching visibly. She speaks in a polite but clipped manner, clearly flustered by your insight. We have different views on how to run a world. We sometimes have discussions over the laws that are enacted, but we both work for the good of the Von Valencia Protectorate. That much can be said without a doubt. You know, if the noble houses are so volatile, what sense is there in keeping them? Over the many centuries, an intricate hierarchy is formed within the ruling elite of Dargonus. The great houses do more than plunder your treasury. It is replenished to a large degree, thanks to their administrative work and their lands. Naturally, you can get rid of anyone whom you consider surplus to requirements, but right now I could threaten the fragile stability that is currently holding the Protectorate together. Thank you for your report, Chancellor. I serve the Von Valencia Protectorate, your lordship. So, Achilles Calendar, does he cause any problems? Let's see if she has maybe guessed that he's a spy. Why? None at all, your lordship. Secretary Scalander is an outstanding individual and a loyal servant of the Von Valencia's dynasty. In Lady Theodora's absence, we collaborated on a number of issues related to the well-being of your domain, and he's proven himself quite capable. And I don't know why, but even the governor trembles before Achilles. I do know why. Which is unusual for a man of his, shall we say, standing. The last words bring a slight smile to her lips. So, what exactly are your responsibilities as the Chancellor? To put it simply, I'm your trade representative. Any and all decrees, deals, official communication, and meetings are first reviewed by me and then forwarded to you and from you down the hierarchy. My purview also includes overseeing your lordship's property, the palace, the estates, the many gardens, and the other dismesses on Dargonus that you have inherited from Lady Theodora. And whenever you're present on Dargonus, consider me your personal secretary. Quite the high-ranking secretary, I guess. Yeah, I'm playing right now, and the conversation between each other not having audio sometimes is annoying me. Do you mean Rogue Trader, or you talk about BG3? Tell them that I'm ready to see the governor. Clemencia bows before leaving. I shall arrange for him to be escorted to your study. Let's see. Ooh, quite a nice outfit. Urban's drive steam. Edward von Valentius, 20th in his line, rogue trader, keeper of the Sacred Warrant, and ruler of Koronus Expanse from the Chronox system to the 100 Reefs Crossroads. I bid you welcome. Urban Drive Team, governor of this great world. First and foremost, please accept my deepest condolences. It will be difficult to recover from the loss of a woman as great as Theodora von Valentius. It pains me to think that she is no longer with us. The citizens of Dargonus and of the entire protectorate grieve alongside you. Please, allow us to declare half a year of mourning so that we can honor the memory of our beloved lady. Interesting. Seems like quite the unnecessary symbolism. Rogue Trader was fine, glitch-wise, until Act 4 and 5. Act 3 had one bad glitch for me, but I think it's fixed now. Let's hope for that. It is all the same to me. Do as you see fit. I will immediately give all necessary instructions, your lordship. He casually presses a few buttons on the cogitator built into his gold bracer. Fancy. Esteemed Edward, Lady Theodora was a strong leader, and we ought to follow her example. Let us lean on our wisdom and preserve in spite of this tragedy. Together. And let us carry on where she no longer can be leading the Von Valencia Protectorate to even greater prosperity. I know that you came late to this appointment. I will not forget that. Alas, it won't be an easy task to accomplish. Some time ago, the astropath of Dargonus flew into a rage, and they had to be subdued. We are gradually restoring our ability to speak with the neighboring worlds, but the contacts are still weak, and the routes are tangled and no longer lead to the systems that the captains expect them to. I do wonder why that happened. And it was the same for us. We had to rediscover all the routes again. Given that the vast majority of ships in the Dargonus Navy travel without relying on the services of navigators, without your engagement, the well-being of the Von Valentius dynasty and billions of its subjects is presently at risk. You know, we actually met a ship from Dargonus not too long ago. The crew was transporting a strange artifact and were met during the flight. The governor presses a number of buttons on the cogitator built into his bracer and looks up at you in surprise. I don't understand. The ship did indeed depart from orbit, but it did so, if you can believe it, on the rogue trader's authorization. That is why no one dared to impede its departure. Damn it. Did Conrad stole, like, codes or something? Or seals? Lord Captain, it would seem that Conrad somehow got his hands on a copy of your authorization. Or perhaps even the original. A tool like that in the hands of a traitor does not bode well. Yeah, it's pretty messed up, I'd say. Conrad Vortvir, former Master of Whispers, is a heretic and a traitor. Has he shown his face on Dargonus? The governor pensively strokes the rings glittering on his fingers. He did. Lord Vortvir visited the capital some time ago, but he did not request a personal meeting. A heretic, you say? Now I see where all the whispering in the corridors has come from. I shall be frank with you, your lordship. Lady Theodora's sudden death was a blow to every one of us, and the absence of any sort of verifiable and complete information about her successor gives ground for all manner of rumors and misinterpretations, especially if someone is deliberately inciting unrest and discontent. Naturally, none would dare challenge you by accusing you of something as sacrilegious as murdering a rogue trader. However, Conrad Vortvir was once a true boon to the Protectorate back in the day, and as such, might heed his words. Some might heed his words. Heretical, publicly rip out the vocal cords and tongues of every slanderer. Yikes. And replace them with vox implants that sing praises of rogue trader Edward von Valentius. Yikes again. My subject doubts are understandable. Too many things have changed into too short a span. I will prove myself worthy of my position. Why, Edward? Your desire is most commendable, but please do not forget, a ruler should never bow to their attendants, or some might see it as a show of weakness. So, what exactly do the Dargonus nobility expect from me in light of the loss of roots and communication with other worlds? We are all troubled by the fate of the agri-world Xenos that supply Dargonus and other planets with foodstuffs. Empty stomachs can drive even the mildest rebel to revolt. Furthermore, House Gabrek is perturbed by the loss of communication with the industrial world Kiyava Gamma, which is in their charge. But if you wish to know my opinion, the world that deserves your attention the most is panel world Viabus 6. One of the key mining suppliers in your protectorate. I think that one was the prison planet, right? Oh well. You know, such intriguing concern for the Viabus 6 outposts. Doesn't your house happen to be to own the extraction stations there? Ah. It's interesting that that doesn't qualify as a colony. Perhaps since beady eyes widen in fear. Your lordship, I beg of you, do not interpret my words as an attempt to influence your decisions in any way. You see, without Viabus 6, the manufactorums on your worlds will need to make haste to find new suppliers elsewhere and arrange for new shipments, and in these troubling times, they run the risk of delays and other most tragic mishaps. My only concern is for the prosperity of the Van Valence's dynasty. You know, I've already been to Kiavagama. The industrial world was overtaken by a cult of chaos worshippers. Drevstein pauses, mulling over the gravity of your words. Such woeful tidings, your lordship. I assume that House Gabrek is in it for an official investigation. If I may remind you, they have particular close ties to the Adeptus Mechanicus and serve as patrons of Kiavagama. Not to speak in the defense of criminals, your lordship, but from where I stand, the outbreak of heresy on Kiava could hardly have been perpetrated by a noble family who stands to lose the majority of their wealth should the industrial world fall. Yeah, we're definitely just not randomly punishing people. You know, I think it's too early to draw any conclusions. We will wait for the results of the investigation. Most reasonable, your lordship. But what of the industrial world? Are we to expect trade to recommence? Yes. The production facilities of Kiavagama will serve humanity once more, rest assured. House Gabrek will be overjoyed to hear that. I thank you for dispelling the darkness around the fate of Kiavagama. Another thing, I've already visited the agri-world Janus. Governor Viad found herself facing a number of problems in my absence. That is putting it lightly. Truly, the Viad line is one of the oldest in the Von Valencia protectorate. If the inheritor of such well-respected blood could not handle what I've had befallen her, then the situation must have been extraordinary indeed. Yeah, all of our worlds are infested with chaos. I wonder if we have something similar here. The Stencer succumbed to worshipping the ruinous powers and was executed. Dressed in pales in terror, it is clear from the unseemly grimace on his aristocratic countenance that his fear is not faint. Ruinous powers? Truly horrifying news. I commend your resolve and unwavering severity. Death to the enemies of humanity. So, that does it for the planets on the trade route. What else? Xenos, your lordship. I don't really know where to begin. He rubs his bridge of the nose, warily. Otherworldly beasts are not an uncommon sight in the Koronus Expanse. They have been a menace to the worlds this side of the Maw for decades. But no, now these abominations are on the rampage. They show no signs of fear as they attack ships, either damaging them to the point where they become unfit for transport duty, or outright gutting them. Only you have the power to stop the madness. We are in process of restoring the astropathic choir of Dargonus. Luckily, we were forced to slay only some of the deranged Psykers, although those that remain are yet unable to transmit messages. I hope Master Scalender will keep this world, and offer you his support in the war against the Xenos. According to the reports, the region of Viabus 6 has been particular concern in the last few cycles, which is all the more reason to discover the colony's fate as soon as possible. We were there. Now, to issues on smaller scale. There's a certain degree of tension in the capital due to the unorthodox succession to the Sacred Warrant. Chances of uprisings are minimal, of course, and the spreading of rumors is nothing but a sign of weakness of mind and spirit. Nonetheless, I've prepared a list of minor houses that have demonstrated unseemly discomposure at your succession. What is to be done with them? I would say let's go with a very precise strike, because I mean we really do not want people going back to Conrad and trying to sow chaos like on our other worlds. Don't think we can afford that. Eliminate the most prominent malcontents quietly, but do not threaten entire families. Hopefully these steps will be enough to keep the rest from causing any more trouble. Once your lordship's wrath descends upon the guilty, have no doubt that there won't be a soul in Dargonus willing to share their fate. And one last thing, your lordship. Your inauguration as bearer of the sacred orange is but a matter of time, and I would like to inquire about one crucial detail. I imagine you are intending to uphold the centuries-old tradition, bolstered by an equally long-lasting friendship, of being represented on Dargonus by one of the noble houses. I presume, as before, this duty will be accorded to House Drivesteam. No. Definitely don't do that. Cause I mean, you came late. You seem pretty stuck up on your own things. We will boost the Wassarians. You know, I suppose I will bestow this honor upon the Wassarians. Abelard turns to you and bows respectfully. Lord Captain, to accompany you at such a critical hour is the greatest honor for the Wassarian bloodline. Have no fear, we will not fail you. Drivesteam tosses Abelard a look that lacks even the smallest shred of respect. Forgive my boldness, but I must remind you that the Wassarians, whose lineage traces back to a navy officer, are not of the Dargonus nobility. Such decisions may have adverse effects on your subjects' loyalty, your lordship. Sure. Drivesteam's face breaks into a bitter smile. I shall immediately relay your commands, most gracious rogue trader. Thank you for your time. So, I would like to complete my inauguration as rogue trader as soon as possible. When is the ceremony? I'm afraid that until you deal with the pressing issues, the ceremony will have to be postponed. Many trade routes are still unavailable to the central worlds of the Van Valencia protectorate, and those are also going through a crisis, and the warp disturbances, if void observers are to be believed, will prevent important guests from reaching the capital. That will be all, I take it. Thank you for your time, your lordship. Since duty calls, I shall take my leave. May the Emperor Grace be with you. Alright. Oh, so much text. What's the path to Viabos 6? Didn't we go there? Am I confusing names? But I think that's the last thing we need to do. Yeah. Curious. Maybe it was another planet with 6 at the end. I don't know. Finally some time to drink tea. Did you just suddenly see like a trap overlay there? Yikes. I do wonder if we need like Navigator's insight to get there. I don't know. How many acts again did this game have, Alistair? Was it 4 or 5?